191 Collabs, presented by Pinnacle Financial Partners, brings Grizz Nation hyper-local Grizz gear from Memphis designers. The next drop is the top-notch collection from proud Memphian Brandon Hobbs and his clothing brand M-Town Merch. The homage to Memphis culture, classic sportswear, and elevated street style is only available at the Grizzlies Den on Friday, November 7th when the Grizzlies host the Dallas Mavericks. Get your tickets today at grizzlies.com/tickets or visit the FedEx Forum box office.
Now that's the new edition way.
I feel like there's another level we can take it to.
What you think, Mike?
2 steps ahead of you, Slick.
What's good, bro?
What you doing, man?
I'm in.
Woman, you don't even know what I'm getting ready to ask you.
Here's the vision. All 3 of us on the same stage every night.
Gonna be crazy.
No barriers, no separation.
It'll be like 9 kings and a queen.
The next level starts now.
Calling all collectors! Topps NBA basketball trading cards are back. It's available in the Grizzlies Den by Fanatics and online at Topps.com. Rip into bold color parallels, electric inserts, relics, and autographed cards from today's biggest stars and the next-gen talent. Look out for rookie cards of Cooper Flagg and Dylan Harper, plus Grizzlies favorites Ja Morant, Jalen Wells, and so many more. You don't want to miss this drop. Grab your set before it's gone.
Jeff Dunham, Artificial Intelligence, his all-new tour.
Just a hand. You're the other white meat. How can you be so smart on one hand and so stupid on the other? Well, you're half of it. I realize I could have avoided all this years ago with one simple word. I do not. Silence!
Don't miss a Memphis. Friday, April 10th, FedEx Forum. Tickets on sale Monday, September 29th at jeffdunham.com.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio. We're in FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle right there producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you didn't expect any good stuff last night inside FedEx Forum, either on or off the court, because we didn't really get it. Another rough night for both Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. Just bad stuff all around in every way. It's 3 straight losses and 2 straight not so great post-game press conferences. We'll talk through it momentarily. First, so quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. Avery Johnson, he won an NBA championship as a player in 1999 with the Spurs and was the NBA Coach of the Year in 2006 with the Mavericks. Now, he's my colleague at CBS Sports, one of the best NBA analysts working today. He's going to join me in the next segment. We're going to talk about all things Ja Morant, about Victor Wembanyama with his Spurs, about Cooper Flagg with his Mavericks. Avery Johnson going to be here in about 20 minutes. Finish talking to Avery. We're going to take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, Steve Ballmer is being sued by 11 former Aspiration employees who allege the Clippers owner used the company to secretly funnel millions of dollars to Kawhi Leonard in an attempt to circumvent the NBA salary cap. That's a point for Pablo Torre. I'll get you updated on that story. We'll do it in about 40 minutes. The Bucks beat the Pacers last night thanks to Giannis Antetokounmpo's 17-foot jumper at the buzzer that broke a tie. Miles Turner was booed in his return game to Indianapolis. We'll show you all of it in just a bit. The 2025-26 college basketball season, it got underway yesterday. Arizona freshman Koa Pete, he was the star of day one, led the Wildcats to a victory over the reigning national champions, the Florida Gators. And should it be a concern that for Memphis fans that the same Auburn team that beat Penny Hardaway's Tigers by 24 points last week was taken to overtime last night by Bethune-Cookman? I'll get Bennett's thoughts on that. We'll do it in about 40 minutes. Jets coach Aaron Glenn had an awkward interaction with a reporter during a press conference yesterday. I'll never understand why some of these coaches are so weird in these moments. We'll play it for you in the third segment. And MLB has announced the finalists for its major awards, among them AL and NL MVP. Some familiar faces are involved. I'll run you through that during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's carryout and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to. But I did want to start with your Memphis Grizzlies because Game 8 of a scheduled 82 was played last night inside FedEx Forum. As you likely know, it did not go well for the home team. Final score, Pistons 114, Grizzlies 106. The Grizz trailed by as many as 21 points, never led, even for a second, lost the game by 8 as expected. Ja Morant, he returned to the starting lineup after a 1-game suspension for conduct detrimental to the team. He took 16 shots, missed 11 of them, and was -5 in 35 joyless minutes. That's his word, not mine, on the court. He made 0 3-pointers, and best I could tell, also cracked 0 smiles. If you were hoping the franchise point guard would express some regret about how he handled last Friday night or show some fire in his return to the court, it was a wasted hope. His on-the-court performance was uninspiring. His post-game press conference was embarrassing, and we're going to play that for you in just a second. But first, Bennett, let me get your thoughts on what you saw last night. You were in the building. Ja Morant's return to FedEx Forum after, costing his team a chance to win on Friday against the Lakers and then getting suspended, which, of course, it cost his team another chance to win on Sunday in Toronto. The Grizz are 3-5 with Kevin Durant and the Rockets on tap tomorrow night.
I thought that, they didn't look great once again last night. He did not play like a game that we're used to seeing. He did have 10 assists, though. I mean, I actually thought that he was definitely good in spurts last night. He was getting his teammates involved, but he was not happy. Like, you could just tell. You could just tell he wasn't happy last night. You could just tell.
Well, you could tell, and then then he told you.
Yeah, and then he said so on the post game. But you could tell during the game. They just got bullied on the boards. We knew Detroit was a good rebounding team. That happened, and they were just giving up points at the rim. Isaiah Stewart hit 1 million 3-pointers, which was surprising. It was just it was tough, man. It's been a tough go of it to start the season. They don't look good right now. They just don't.
I won't mince words. Like, that sucked. Everything about last night sucked, and it was disappointing. And if you're a fan paying real money to come downtown and see your favorite player, I totally get why you're frustrated with what you saw on the court and with what you heard in the locker room after what was a 3rd straight defeat. Speaking of, let's just go ahead and watch Ja's postgame. It's about 65 seconds that Matt Enfield from Action News 5 posted last night. It was 65 seconds of what I would describe as unnecessary combativeness. Let's watch it together.
Were you and the coaching staff able to talk about what happened Friday and move on?
Y'all asked that question to them, huh?
What about for you?
Y'all asked that question, so y'all know the answer to that.
Do you feel like everything's been resolved?
Yeah. They told y'all that, right?
Well, yeah, but
There
we
you
didn't
go.
hear it from you.
Obviously, they can't go and tell y'all something I ain't say.
You feel like you get the same joy right now that we used to see from you?
No.
Why not?
What can be done to get it back?
We'll see.
Do you think you have a good relationship with the franchise
Yeah.
in general?
Yeah. They told y'all that, right?
I didn't say anything about that.
If I had a good relationship, I wouldn't talk to them at all. So, and we had our combos over these.
Do you have any regrets about the way you played on Friday night in the second half?
You said what?
Do you have any regrets about the way you played in the game? I'm not talking about the
That's your
post-game
home
stuff.
run question? Sound like a bait question.
That's bad. That's bad. This is a $100 million business, an enterprise worth hundreds of millions of dollars. You're the face of it. You've had 3 days to prepare for this moment, to not just talk to a handful of media people in a locker room, but to address your fans, the people who are wearing your shoes, who are buying these tickets, who are showing up, who love you. And that's the best you can do. Can you defend that?
No, not that interaction. I don't know if I can defend that. But I will say, like, to your point, it is true that the fans are behind him. Like, they are.
They're turning.
Not in that arena. I think that the online perception is way different than reality. He
Look in the chat right now. Look in the chat right now.
And I see what you're saying, but I'm saying in that arena last night, like, dude, every time they said his name, the place erupted.
Because they're trying to build him up and make him smile, but he won't respond.
I think that's fair. I think it is, again, man, we are how many games into the season? 8 games into the season. Like, it can't be like this every night. It can't. Something's got to give here, right? Like, something's got to give.
And I know somebody might say, well, hey, listen, he was in a post-game press conference after a loss, and you're going to feel a certain kind of way after a loss, particularly when you miss every single three-pointer you take once again. And I get that, but if that's your reality, if you can't handle that situation after a one-game suspension any better than that after a loss, you should speak before the game. Have a prepared statement. But that's awful. That is awful. I mean, $200 million contract, $39.75 a year.
No, I mean, they need him. They need him to be their leader.
Publicly pouting for the second straight postgame. Just answer the questions. Chris Harrington at the end there, Daily Memphian. Do you have any regrets about how you handled Friday night, how you played Friday night? I don't work in PR. You mean tell you the proper answer to that question? Of course I do. Of course I do. I cost my team. I embarrassed myself. I took things that should have been private, made it public, and it ended up leading to a suspension that cost my team again. Do I have regrets? Of course I do. Because who wouldn't? Why can't you just say that? That's what everybody wants to hear, and that is the truth. But instead of saying that, you question the question? It sounds like a bait question? It sounds like a reasonable question. It sounds like a proper question. It sounds like exactly what somebody should be asking you. Yo, man, we thought things were going pretty well. You hit a game winner against Phoenix. Team's got a winning record despite a super banged up roster. Up 14 at the half against the Lakers, and then you shut it down in a way that had former NBA All-Stars on TV questioning everything about you. Your effort, your leadership, everything. Do you have any regrets? Of course you do. Of course he does. I'm sure he does. Up here. But I don't know why I can't say it. But when you are speaking for the first time since the last time you spoke and said all that stuff, you've got to be a little better than that. And by a little better, I mean a lot. Nobody is defending this other than some sycophants. Nobody. Former players are calling him. I can't even keep up with how every former player who talks into a microphone for a living now had said something critical about Ja Morant. Every one of them. Nobody's out there defending this. They'll try to explain it, but nobody's defending this. Traditional media, calling him out left and right. Local fans, yeah, they're starting to turn. Folks can tolerate, I think, petulance when you're awesome. And fans can even overlook, poor performances when they at least think you're doing everything you possibly can to impact things positively. But bad play combined with this type of behavior, it's not going to fly. You're exactly right. Something has to change, both on the court and off. And just let's focus on the on-the-court stuff for a second. Have you seen the numbers?
From Ja?
Yeah, I mean, we're all caught up in the...
They're not Ja Morant numbers.
I mean, they are literally his numbers. They're his right now.
No, I mean, what we've been used to seeing in past years.
Oh, sure. But, yeah, that's my point. 20.4 points per game, lowest since 2021. 7.1 assists per game, lowest since 2022. Career low 13.9% from three for a team that's 3-5 overall. His PR is 17.62. Maybe you don't care about player efficiency rating, but it is something that's out there. He's ranked 102nd in the NBA, one spot below John Collins, one spot ahead of Kevin Huerter. That's where we're at. That's where we're at right now. And bad shooting nights, bad performances, whatever, but I think it's totally reasonable to expect, after what happened Friday night and everything that has unfolded since then, for the first time you're in front of a camera since that, all of that stuff went down, that I just don't understand why you would come to it with that. He was there to be disagreeable from the jump. He was there to not engage from the jump. That's just not a good look. Not from somebody who's supposed to be the leader. Not from somebody who's supposed to be the face of this thing. We don't have to lie to each other. That was if you were hoping it would be a turning point, well, clearly it wasn't. Earlier in the day, Tomas Isolo held a press conference, and he was asked specifically about the shorter rotations that reportedly have led to some frustration and points of contention between the coaching staff and, I would assume, multiple players, but for the purposes of this conversation, Ja Morant.
Yeah, I would assume multiple players too.
Shams Charania is NBA insider for ESPN. He has talked about this, the rotations, the substitution patterns. The only name he's put publicly connected to it is Ja Morant. But I'm certain Ja's not the only one who is frustrated by this unusual way of doing things. Anyway, Isolo was asked about it yesterday, and here's the way he answered that question.
I would say I have a lot of understanding for the players who say this. I think a lot of players have been conditioned throughout their career to play in longer stints and to go find that rhythm. And basketball, just like every other global team invasion sport, is evolving. And the demands on the intensity are higher and higher, and we are looking to also adapt to the times, and that's one of the things. And yeah, a lot of planning, a lot of feel goes into planning the sub patterns. I think what's often forgotten is what comes out, the actual sub pattern. It's to optimize results in the short, medium, and long term. That is the only goal of the sub pattern, to find a competitive advantage from it. There's some, it's a good question to ask, because you could say, okay, what are you maybe not getting if you're getting intensity and pace being one of our key components to some of our, especially here in the early season, you might be sacrificing some, let's say, chemistry within the units, because they might play shorter times together, or it might be more substitutions in an NBA game that already has a lot of stops in it. So I understand the concerns, and we're after the best overall result, like I said, in the short, medium, and long term.
That's a wonderful answer to a totally reasonable question. He acknowledged that it's possible some players aren't comfortable with it, explained why he understands some players might not be comfortable with it, and then explain the pros and cons of doing it this way. The idea is to have fresher guys, keep up the intensity, play with pace. But then acknowledged, I understand there could be some unintended consequences here. You could be sacrificing chemistry, and we now know sacrificing on some level locker room harmony, right? But he listened to the question and he answered it, and he acknowledged multiple perspectives. I appreciated that. I want to be clear. I'm not sure I agree with the approach of the shorter substitution patterns, because
we were talking about it all last season with Taylor Jenkins. And
I think in 11-year-old basketball, you can out-hustle people, I think in the NBA, it's about awesome players being awesome. Yes, you need effort and intensity and pace and all that stuff, but I've forever been skeptical that larger rotations and quicker substitutions is actually a net positive in professional basketball. But I'm not interested in arguing with an actual professional basketball coach about it, right? I'm just saying I don't know that I co-sign his philosophy on this. But it's at least well thought out. He has an explanation for why he does it. And to be clear, he may be right. Everything he says about it might be exactly right. But one thing about coaching, and I know he knows this, is that just being right about something isn't enough if you can't also get your players to believe in it. That's the key. That's the next step. If you're going to stick to this, Ja and Jaren have to believe in it, or else it will not work. You cannot have, and this goes for almost any place of business, but certainly in a sports team. If the players who are important don't believe in what the coach is asking them to do, it will not work. So whether he's right or wrong about the approach, whether he can get smart basketball people to agree with him or not, is kind of beside the point. You've got to get your most important basketball players to believe in it in a real way. And I think it's safe to say, so far, that looks like a work in progress. Avery Johnson up next.
Grizz Nation, don't foul out on dinner plans. Hit Sticks Express in downtown Memphis instead. Fresh hibachi, steak, shrimp, sushi tacos, and yes, our legendary sake slushy to keep things cool. Order online with code STIX901, STIX901, and knock 10% off your tab. It's the perfect pick and roll for game night. Sticks Express, fast, fresh, always a slam dunk. And hey, come see us at our Collierville location too.
Watching the Grizzlies is easy with FanDuel Sports Network. If you have cable or satellite, you're all set. Find us on your channel lineup. You can also use your TV provider login to watch games on the FanDuel Sports Network app. No cable or satellite? Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network online. You can also watch on Prime Video by adding a FanDuel Sports Network subscription. Not sure where to start? Visit FanDuelSportsNetwork.com to learn more.
The only thing better than Saturday Night Hoops is when it comes with an exclusive Grizz hoodie. Every Saturday this season, $60 gets you a Grizzlies ticket and a limited edition Grizzlies hoodie. 4 different hoodie designs dropping across 4 Saturday games. Not sold anywhere else. Don't miss your shot to collect all 4 designs. Grab your tickets and gear up now at grizzlies.com/Saturday.
Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
Who's going to be the tougher team that rebounds and prevents second-chance opportunities?
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans. Want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Parrish Show presented by Ortho South. I'm inside the Built Ford Tough Studio, FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis, and I'm joined now by the 1999 world champion with the San Antonio Spurs, 2006 NBA Coach of the Year. with the Dallas Mavericks. He's now an NBA analyst for CBS Sports. It's my colleague and friend, Avery Johnson. Avery, it's GP. How you doing?
Hey, GP, how you doing, man? Great to be with you.
It's great to have you here. As I'm reading through it, that's an incredible introduction you're going to have for the rest of your life. NBA champion, NBA coach of the year. Like, I can't touch that. That's a pretty good thing to hear every time you go on TV.
And GP, the nation's leader in assists in college for 1 year.
Yes.
13.3 assists. Nobody's ever averaged 13.3 assists that yours truly averaged at Southern University, Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Your story really is, and I think most people know it, but to go from where you started to where you ended up to having your number retired by one of the greatest franchises in American professional sports, do you ever look back on it just in not amazement, because I don't think anybody looks at their own life like that, but you've lived quite a movie.
You know, Gary, it's funny because when I go back to my high school, St. Augustine High School in New Orleans, where I was the 14th man on a state championship team. I only got to play when we were up by 30. They called me Little 30. and I got one scholarship to a junior college, and the rest is history. And then when I go to Southern University, where my name is on the court, my jersey's retired, or like you said, San Antonio, where my jersey's retired. So I am really amazed, especially, to do what I did at my size. I wasn't drafted in the NBA. I had to come in through the back door. But at the same time, I'm glad that serves as motivation for a lot of young athletes out there, and especially the undersized people that know that, hey, they can take a look at my career, and hopefully it serves as inspiration.
You mentioned that you're a smaller basketball player, and obviously you flourished in a certain era. And I don't mean to get off topic. We're going to get back to the Grizzlies in a second. But how difficult would it be for somebody your size to play in the NBA today? I know they still exist, but everybody is bigger and longer now, and it looks like the under 6 foot guys are going to have a hard time making it going forward.
Yeah, it's rare. You got to be really exceptional.
Yeah.
I'm here in Dallas, and you look at their starting lineup right now. Cooper Flagg's at point guard. Klay Thompson and P.J. Washington's at small forward. When Anthony Davis is healthy, he's at the 4, and Derek Lively or Gafford is at the 5. And I don't see anybody in that lineup under 6'7". Yeah. And you see that a lot around the league, whether it's the San Antonio Spurs. Jalen Brunson is one of the rare guys that's, 6'1" or whatever, that's playing at a very high level. But you're right. I think in this day and time of switching defenses, I wasn't a 3-point shooter, but 3-point shooting, it would be very difficult and challenging, not impossible. But NBA teams are looking for guys that can switch, and a 5'8" guy switching on a 7'1" center. I don't know how beneficial that would be.
I think that's what they call a mouse in the house. I'm talking to Avery Johnson, NBA analyst at CBS Sports. Let's talk Grizzlies. As I'm sure you know, things haven't been going smoothly down here. The record is 3-5, and Ja Morant was suspended over the weekend for conduct detrimental of the team. Specifically on Ja, just what do you make of everything connected to him right now?
Yeah, and I was talking about Ja to some of my friends and some of our other colleagues at CBS Sports HQ, our digital platform. And when you have to suspend a guy for conduct detrimental to the team, and the guy that's supposedly like one of the captains or one of the leaders of the team, that's bad. It's bad for your culture. It's bad for your environment. I think it's very disrespectful to the coaching staff. But at the same time, is the coaching staff putting themselves in position where they earn the respect of the players? I've always said it's better to be respected than liked. And I've told my teams that from day one. I told Dirk Nowitzki, I said, hey, look, you and I were teammates. If you want to be special, if you want to have a chance to win the MVP, have a chance to go to the finals and win the championship, you're not going to like me every day. But I need those days when you don't like me. I don't need you to be a locker room lawyer and go back in the locker room and try to coerce the rest of the team to be on your side and against me. Well, you and I, even though we may disagree, we still have to be aligned. I don't need you to be insubordinate. I want you to trust me that we're all pulling in the same direction. And if we can do that, we'll be able to survive some of the tough times that we may have together.
There's some reporting from last Friday night that suggests or, indicates that there was some sort of confrontation in the locker room. Nothing physical, but more or less Ja was called out by the coaching staff for a lack of effort in front of the team. And obviously that led to what it led to. I ask you, as somebody who has worked in those locker rooms, how did you handle situations like that when you had a star player who wasn't meeting expectations and you had to address it? Do you do it privately? Do you do it in front of other people? How would you handle that as a former NBA Coach of the Year?
Well, it's a combination of both. I think if you can't address the lack of effort or whatever of any player, let alone a star player, in front of the group, you're going to end up being a bad team. Bad teams, GP, coaching is not coaching, it's criticism. You're being critical. Good teams is outstanding coaching. Coach me hard. I want more of that. Hold me more accountable, okay? And I remember when Coach Popovich coached us doing our run in San Antonio, David Robinson, Tim Duncan, and myself, we were coached the hardest. Some of the things that he told us back then is not even repeatable. He would probably, get fired if we repeated some of the things he said, but we took it as coaching. We took it as he loved us. He's trying to pull the best out of us. But on the bad teams that I've been with, when you've tried to coach guys hard, then they want to call ownership and get you fired. He's being too hard. He's being too difficult. And you end up not being a playoff team or a team that flames out in the first round because you really don't have substance. You're a team more of style than you are substance.
Can that change? In other words, if you're a coach and you have a star player who is resistant on some level of things you're trying to implement, which can be translated into you're making yourself difficult to coach. Can a switch be flipped? Can you go from he's hard to coach to he's now coachable and understanding and willing and on the same page with me? Can that change?
It can, but it requires a lot of time together, behind the scenes. I used to, when I coached Dirk, I knew Dirk was going to be in the gym at 11 o'clock at night shooting, so I would go rebound for him and talk to him. Stackhouse, I used to have to catch Stackhouse maybe at a restaurant, and then we have to drink a little, little vino, a little communion together. Another guy on the golf course, another guy at the bowling alley. Sometimes you got to meet these guys on their turf and talk to them and build that relationship with them individually. So that when you address them collectively amongst the group, that they understand that you really want what's best for them and the team.
I'm talking to Avery Johnson, a former NBA Coach of the Year, now an analyst with CBS Sports. Switching gears, I want to talk to you about a couple of your former franchises and the stars that are in them. You've already mentioned Cooper Flagg. He's the number one pick in the 2025 NBA draft after an incredible 1 year at Duke, where he was the youngest Wooden Award winner in college basketball history. How fired up are they in Dallas for Cooper Flagg, and what have you seen from him so far in his rookie season?
GP, they're fired up because, to be able to trade a Luka Doncic and get lucky in the draft lottery and get Cooper Flagg, he's an outstanding young man. He's a two-way player. He plays on both ends of the floor. When this team is healthy, and I know they're hoping that, maybe January, February, they'll get there. If you look at this roster with Kyrie Irving in the backcourt and Klay Thompson, at that point, probably Cooper would be at 3 and, Anthony Davis and Lively. And then you bring in P.J. Washington off the bench and Brandon Williams. And, this team is really deep. And they have some real size that can be problematic for anybody. This team, I believe, if healthy, is one of the teams that can really contend with OKC in the Western Conference. And then you have a team like the Spurs with Victor Wembanyama, who spent some time with Hakeem Olajuwon in the offseason and did all of his work on his body and his footwork. And you see him, scoring in the paint more. And we know what he can do on the defensive end of the court. He's my preseason MVP vote, by the way. But I think he can get really competitive in the Western Conference. Denver's improved their bench. Obviously, they've had a coaching change. So we'll see what happens with the Lakers. LeBron's not playing, but we'll see when they add him back to the mix. DeAndre Ayton was signed in the offseason. So some really interesting storylines. And let's see what happens with Memphis. Yeah. If they can ever get their act together, it could be some interesting storylines in the Western Conference this year.
Down in San Antonio, they got a young man unlike anything we've ever seen. I know your number is retired by that franchise. It appears crystal clear his is going to be there joining yours someday as well. Victor Wembanyama, we've thought for a while he's eventually going to be the best player in the world. He looks like he might be that right now. What do you make of the start to this season from him?
Think about how fortunately lucky and blessed the Spurs are. Yeah. You go from David Robinson in 87, Tim Duncan in 97. Then you have a little bit of a cup of coffee in the championship with Kawhi Leonard. And then, you get a Stephon Castle and Victor Wembanyama. Man, their future is bright. And he plays the right way. He's a great kid. He's a kid that galvanizes the rest of his team. He's a winner. He makes all of the winning moves, not on the court, but off the court, the way he practices and carries himself, the way he takes care of his body, his lifestyle. It really speaks volumes, especially, not only in the San Antonio community, but throughout the NBA and the globalization of basketball. He fits right in. He's the perfect fit.
Last thing before I get you out of here, we're a few weeks into this season. LeBron James still sidelined, and it seems that nobody has a good grasp for when he's going to play or even how the rest of his career is going to unfold. Where are we at on LeBron James after setting the NBA scoring record, sort of off to the side and a bit of an afterthought in a season that's unfolding?
Yeah, and for LeBron James, I think this creates an opportunity for him to make sure he's rested and ready coming into the season. This guy's got a lot of mileage on his body. He spends a lot of money on his body in the offseason, but it's a lot of wear and tear. So LeBron James, that's the last guy that you got to worry about, even at his age in his early 40s now. I think the key for him is, when he comes back, probably have him on a minute restriction. If you don't have to overuse him, and that's why it's very important for some of their younger players to step up, and they have some sort of a big three going on there right now. Wow. So I think for LeBron, rested, ready, mentally, physically ready to go. But I don't think LeBron James ever need to play 40 minutes in a game again. I think they got to really monitor his minutes to keep him especially late in the season when he can tend to wear down at his age, which is understandable. Just make the right decisions with him, especially in the way you utilize him in games.
That is the great Avery Johnson, NBA champion and former NBA Coach of the Year, now an NBA analyst for CBS Sports. Coach, you're the best. I appreciate your time. I can't wait to see you again.
See you soon, GP. Thanks a lot.
All right, buddy. I'll see you. That's Avery Johnson, my colleague at CBS Sports. Interesting stuff about how he used to handle relationships with players when he was the coach in Dallas, because he had a unique situation where he was actually coaching a star who he was once teammates with. And so I thought that was something to make note of. He knew that Dirk would be in the gym late at night. So let me just pop in, and then we're spending time together. Quality time, whether Dirk even realizes it or not. With Jerry Stackhouse, you go here. Another guy, you might go to the golf course. But it is important to establish those relationships. And wherever we thought those relationships were, between Ja and the coaching staff, Jaren and the coaching staff, whoever else you want to involve, it's pretty clear that we've hit a place.
Yeah.
We're at a point where things have to be fixed. And it's in everybody's best interest to figure it out.
Absolutely. I mean, we've got 74 more of these.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean,
what's the alternative? Like, it's over? Like,
yeah, that's just not practical.
Like, the season is still completely in front of them.
If the main thing you need to remember, everybody needs to remember about an NBA season, is that it is very long. And unless you're the very best team or the very worst team, or one of the very best teams, or one of the very worst teams, you're going to have a lot of this throughout it.
Yeah.
Dictated by hot shooting, cold shooting, injuries, all sorts of things.
They're going to get guys back soon.
There's a lot of this. They're down.
Zach Edey's practicing with the hustle now.
Right. Like, this is all falling on Ja right now. Every conversation is about Ja right now. Self-inflicted. He created this. Or at least he played the biggest role in creating this. But that roster is limited right now. I mean, even with Ja Morant in the starting lineup and Jaren Jackson Jr. in the starting lineup, they were still 4-point underdogs last night to the Detroit Pistons.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the Pistons are good and Cade's amazing and blah, 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 but
he is amazing. Yeah.
He is amazing. But that's where we're at right now. But the roster will improve at some point. Yeah, Zach Edey's going to be back. Hopefully sooner rather than later. At some point, we're going to see Ty Jerome in a Grizzlies uniform, right?
Yeah, I would think we'd get an update on him soon.
Yeah. Undeniably, it's encouraging that he was assigned to the hustle for practice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, you pay enough attention to internet comments and you'll see stuff like, is it time to tank? Is it time? It's not time to do anything except
fix this.
Yes, that's what it's time to do.
Right.
It's time to get on the same page. And I want to be clear about something if I'm not. I actually don't believe when somebody says you got to get on the same page, that necessarily means everybody has to do exactly what the coach believes is the right thing. This is a collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
And you do need to collaborate. And I thought you could hear some of that in Thomas Isolo's press conference yesterday.
You could hear it in Avery Johnson's answer to your question.
Right. You there's a give and take in all of this stuff. And again, you can have the most forward-thinking approach to when it comes to how to implement your roster and rotations in a basketball game. You've got the data to support it. You've got the track record that shows it works. And just at your core, you believe this is the right way to do things in the year 2025. Maybe not in 1985. Maybe not in 1995. But in 2025, this is the way we should be playing. Because of the way the game has evolved, because of the way the game is played, this is the way we should approach this aspect of the game. You can believe that in your core, have the data to support it, and the track record of winning to support it. But if you cannot get your guys to believe in it, it will not work. All right? Just because it has worked with another group of people in another league, in another continent, doesn't mean it would work here. So this is where the rubber meets the road, as they say. It appears the first attempt will be to get Ja and anybody else who needs to be on board with it, to find joy playing this way. Because Ja Morant is telling us with his own mouth that he has lost his joy playing basketball. Mm-hmm. That is what he said last night. It looks like the first attempt is going to be to try to get him and anybody else who needs to get to a good place, to a place where they can find joy playing that way. But here's the catch. If you can't get them there, the season just slips away from you.
Yeah.
And eventually, it hurts everybody. Everybody. So if you can't get them there, I actually don't know that the right thing to do, and reasonable minds can disagree on this. This is all nuanced stuff. But if you can't get them to believe in what you're trying to get them to believe in, at some point that is where I don't think you got to budge on everything or anything, but on some things. On some things. And we might find out that, yes, in a different time with a different team with some different players, perhaps that is an approach that'll work. But these are the players you got right now. And at least so far, there's no evidence that it's working.
Yeah, I think too, like
Ja has been worse than he should be. Jaren has been worse than he should be.
Yes.
And one of them has already been suspended for a game. We can debate the merits of the philosophy. This part is not up for debate. It is not working right now.
That's right. I do think too, like just real quick, like talking about, things that I've seen over these past couple games, and you talk about like the lineup and this is what they have right now. I do think that we mentioned this earlier. I think we're getting closer to probably it's time to insert Cedric Howard into that starting lineup. I mean, he is part of the future of your team. You saw it last night. There was like spurts of some chemistry with him and Ja.
He looks like somebody who's playing with joy.
They keep starting games slow.
They're down 10-4 last night, 3 minutes in.
Every game. It's been almost every game this season. And I just think that, and I don't say this as much as a knock on Jalen Wells, who's not shooting the ball well right now. He even admitted to that last night. I'm saying I think Cedric Howard, I think it's more about him. Like he can give you a burst right now that I think is much needed. I think we're getting close to time that he should probably be in that starting lineup.
A week ago when I talked about this, I made it clear, it's obvious to me and most that Cedric Howard is one of your 5 most impactful players already. He is your best wing option already. And yes, should be in the starting lineup. But there are other things to consider.
That's true.
The veteran leadership component that KCP brings to that locker room, and do you sacrifice some of that by removing him from the starting lineup?
I don't think I'd remove him.
Well,
yeah.
I'm just talking through it.
Yep.
And then with Jalen Wells, it's, you're sacrificing something different. Clearly his confidence has got to be in a not good place right now. And then you very publicly demote him out of the starting lineup after he started 70-plus games last season.
True.
Does that cost you something that you otherwise don't want to lose? I hope you're picking up on the trends here. This is all the same type of stuff.
It is. It really is.
Like if you try to do this, what do you gain? But what does it cost you? If you try to do this, what do you gain? But what does it cost you? Back to rotations. If you try to let Ja play 9 minutes at a time, you might get a happy Ja, but you don't get what you as the coach believe is the best path to sustained success. All right? So you get a happy point guard, but you might cost yourself something in the spirit of, I know how to win basketball games, and we're not doing it the right way. On the other hand, you stick to, we're doing short rotations because I know this is the way to do it. All right. Well, now you might be gaining something in the sense of, I am strategically in an advantageous place over our opponent tonight. You might be gaining something in strategy, but you might be costing you something with your disgruntled point guard.
Yeah.
All right. All of this stuff is a give and take. All of this stuff. So the point I'm trying to make is when we talked about this a week ago, I was very aware and concerned about that give and take.
Mm-hmm.
If it were a fantasy basketball team, this is easy. Take one of them dudes out, put in Cedric Howard. It's a fantasy basketball team. This is a human basketball team with humans, multimillionaires, egos, all of that stuff. So I was very concerned with, I know what you gain by having Cedric Howard in the starting lineup, but we need to figure out what you might lose by removing somebody from the starting lineup.
Yeah.
That's where I was a week ago. I'm getting to it, I promise. Here's where I'm at now. I don't care.
No, because
I don't care anymore.
Yeah, there's also politics to this. Like, it's a lottery pick and a second-round pick. I'm not saying, but like, there's
I don't care
a big
anymore.
investment.
You know what I care about?
Howard.
You know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of being down 10-4 to start the game.
I am tired of being down 10-4 to start the game.
Right. I'm tired
it's
of
a trend right now.
I'm tired of digging out of holes.
Yes.
Every game. All right? So all of the stuff I said last week and just laid out is still true. If you're going to insert Cedric Howard at the expense of KCP, you've got something that you've got to deal with there. If you're going to insert Cedric Howard for Jalen Wells, which seems like the more popular option now, you got something you got to deal with there. And it's a real thing. It's not nothing. I'm just ready to deal with it, and whatever the unintended consequence of making the lineup change might be, I'll deal with it.
Yeah.
Because here's what you're doing. You're shaking up a 3-5 basketball team whose best player is upset. That's what you're really shaking up. What are you scared of? What, like?
Very true.
Yeah. Don't mess with it, because you might what?
It's about time to mess with things.
Might what?
Yeah,
what could possibly get messed up? Worse than it's already messed up.
Yeah. Very true.
So I don't know. I don't make the starting lineup. They don't allow me to do that around here. But if I were making it, Sitter Coward would be in it. You ready for this? Tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
He would be in it tomorrow night.
Because that team you played last night, they were physical. That team coming in tomorrow night, they are physical.
Yeah, they're going to come in here trying to murder you.
Yeah.
Right. I would have Sitter Coward and his energy and his joy. I would have it in the starting lineup. I'd have it in the starting lineup tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Houston Rockets, tickets available, Grizzlies.com. When we come back, we'll stick in the NBA. Oh, buddy. Steve Balmer, the Clippers owner, he's up against it. Now being sued by 11 Aspiration former employees who allege that he used that company to funnel millions of dollars in violation of the NBA CBA to circumvent the salary cap. Millions of dollars to Clipper star Kawhi Leonard. Sounds like Pablo Torre did find out some stuff. I'll get you updated on that story next.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzlies stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis. Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Now that's the new edition way.
I feel like there's another level we can take it to.
What you think, Mike?
2 steps ahead of you, Slick.
What's good, bro?
What you doing, man?
I'm in.
Woman, you don't even know what I'm getting ready to ask you.
Here's the vision. All 3 of us on the same stage every night.
Gonna be crazy.
No barriers, no separation.
It'll be like 9 kings and a queen.
The next level starts now.
Check this out. Last season in the NBA, there were 139 40-point games. We're like 5 days in, 6 days in, and we have had 16 already. It is on pace for over 300 40-point games.
Holy crap.
Sheesh. That would be the pace.
Yeah.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Nate Bargatze.
Look, I say a lot of dumb stuff. I try to keep it in front of large groups. Seems to go better that way.
Big Dumb Eyes World Tour.
When you say something dumb one-on-one, it's a lot for that person. I'll say it, then I can just feel that they feel the weight of my life on their shoulders.
Tickets and info at NateBargatze.com. Don't miss the Big Dumb Eyes World Tour. Nate Bargatze.
Unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. That's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Los Angeles Clippers owner Steve Balmer is facing a lawsuit filed by 11 former Aspiration investors who claim the company was used to pay all-star forward Kawhi Leonard in a manner that circumvented the NBA salary cap.
I was wondering, because their name had been getting dragged quite a bit. I was wondering if something might come from them.
Buddy, this story's not going to stop.
No.
It all is rooted to, I'm just fascinated by all of this.
Yeah.
First up, Pablo is, I just like the idea behind the podcast that he created. He's just going to investigate stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's obviously a brilliant guy.
Journalism's important.
But he just decided, I'm going to launch a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not just going to have a producer and bring on some guests and talk to him about whatever's going on in sports today or the world today or whatever. I'm actually going to investigate things and try to answer questions that I know people are out there thinking about. And so it can be something as serious as concussions and CTE or things that are much less serious, like, he did an episode on after a man climaxes, what happens to their brain in the immediate moments afterward, right? Because there's theories about it.
Okay.
So it's all over the place, but it's always interesting. And
On that episode.
And he is responsible for this investigation being launched and now unfolding, one that is ongoing at the direction of the NBA. And though I know there's still some pushback from some corners and people, among them Mark Cuban, for weird reasons, as we've talked about before, there's no reason to believe this is anything other than exactly what it looks like. Like Mark Cuban's point to Pablo, if you've listened to these episodes, is, Pablo, you have a lot of circumstantial evidence, but you are pulling the conclusion of your reporting out of thin air. You have created something that looks a certain way, but you've proven nothing as it relates to Steve Ballmer actually trying to circumvent the NBA rules. That's the pushback from Mark Cuban.
Yep.
I see what it looks like, but you have not proven that. If this were a courtroom and it was beyond a reasonable doubt, I'd say not guilty on Steve Ballmer because you have not proved your case. And I guess that's true. There's not video of Steve Ballmer sitting down and putting pen to paper next to Kawhi Leonard. The smoking gun that might be there is not technically there. But with these types of things, I always think it's important to just focus on this very simple question. If it's not what Pablo alleges, what on earth could it possibly be? Give me one sensible alternative other than they were trying to circumvent the NBA salary cap rules. I don't even need you to prove it. I just need you to say it. Just tell me the other reason this deal would have been in place if it's not to circumvent the NBA salary cap rules. And when you ask that very simple question, I'm not asking you to prove it. Just tell me, give me something where I would go, maybe. Didn't think about that, but maybe. And nobody can do that here. Nobody. Not a good one. To recap, it was a no-show job for tens of millions of dollars that happened to more or less match the amount of money Kawhi Leonard had to leave on the table to leave Toronto for the Clippers. In other words, as he's going through that free agency based on the CBA, the Raptors are allowed to give him this many years, this much money. Mm-hmm. The Clippers can only give him this many years, this much money. And this job, this no-show job,
would take care of it,
was created to cover that gap.
Yeah.
That's the allegation. And it matches up pretty closely. All right? You can say, okay, like that. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But basketball players sign endorsement deals all the time. Kawhi Leonard signed an endorsement deal. with the same company that was also paying Leonardo DiCaprio, also paying Drake. Like this Aspiration company was paying celebrities millions of dollars to be a part of their company and promote it online, commercials, tweet it, all that stuff.
And that's what made this even harder for me to believe.
Okay.
Because they're in it with like real deal celebrities.
Okay, so the argument would be,
yeah,
this is what this company does.
Yep.
They align themselves with celebrities, Drake, Leonardo DiCaprio, several more. Why not the star of the Los Angeles Clippers? Okay, that's fine. But if you're aligning yourself with Kawhi Leonard, and he is a spokesperson in theory for your company because he has no other value to your company, unless he's using your celebrity, unless you're allowed to use his celebrity to promote your company. He brings nothing else to the table. Why was he never in a commercial? Why did he never tweet about it? Why did you never acknowledge that he represented your company? You agreed to give this man tens of millions of dollars, and he had to do nothing for it. You gained nothing for it. Nobody even knew he was associated with your company. It was just money going out the door. Why would that job exist? If not for the obvious intent to circumvent the NBA salary cap. There's no other explanation. Brainstorm. Spend the next 5 minutes while I'm just rambling, trying to think of, well, GP, did you think of this? You will not get there.
No, it's hard to wrap your mind around. Yes.
So has Pablo proved that Steve Ballmer circumvented the NBA salary cap rules with like a document that like undeniable, you're going to have to sell your franchise? No. But he has shown so much that when you put it all together and you try to come up with an explanation for what happened here, there is literally only one explanation. Only one. Nothing else makes any sense. Nothing. There is no alternative theory to the Clippers circumvented the salary cap to get Kawhi Leonard and keep Kawhi Leonard. There is no alternative theory that makes any sense whatsoever. And now this lawsuit is going to take it to another level because Pablo has incredible sources, but you know what he doesn't have? Subpoena power. You know what happens in lawsuits like this? Oh man, a whole lot of stuff gets subpoenaed. A whole lot of stuff shows up in a courtroom. This is the absolute best thing that could happen to Pablo. Get lawyers and judges and subpoena power involved. I know I have a habit of making this about me, but like the whole Albert Mean story from a million years ago, the best thing that ever happened to me, the TBI and the FBI got involved. I could never go get Logan Young's bank records. I was never going to get his bank records. All I could get is a bunch of people telling me what happened on and off the record. FBI, TBI come in. Now I got his bank records. Now I got Lin Lang's bank records. And it's showing, here's a $9,000 withdrawal from this account and a $9,000 deposit into this account. I mean, it's all right there. If you're investigating something and you've got it but can't quite get where you're trying to get, the best thing that can happen to you is get the people with the subpoena power involved because they can get things you could not get. And that's where this is going to go. It's going to get bad for Steve Ballmer. I don't know how bad, but at the end of this, there is going to be no practical way for that organization, no believable way for that organization to say they didn't do what Pablo has said that they were doing. Who exactly was involved? Who knew what? That might be debatable forever, but this is what it appeared to be. And last night we got a big update in the ongoing investigation.
Number 2.
Well, it wasn't a fun night in FedEx Forum last night, but broadly speaking, was an interesting night in the NBA.
It was.
The Bucks went to Gainbridge Fieldhouse, downtown Indianapolis, and they beat the Pacers. And this was notable because it was Miles Turner's return game. He, of course, left the Pacers after last season, signed with the Bucks in free agency, and he got a video tribute before the game and was booed every time he touched the ball, booed throughout the video. We'll get to that part of it in a second. First, let's watch Giannis knock down a 17-foot jumper at the buzzer to give the Bucks a victory on the road in Miles Turner's return game.
Switched out on him. Giannis with the back down, the paint away.
Nice. That's an outrageous shot, by the way.
With heroes on the shot clock. Giannis with the game winner in Indy.
He's awesome. That was awesome.
That call was funny.
And
nice.
He made it clear after the game, like, yeah, I want to win every game. And I love hitting game winners, But this wasn't just, this wasn't just a Monday night game. That's my teammate. And he spent 10 years here. And to watch him be treated like that, that doesn't sit well with me. I want to win every game, but I really wanted to win this game tonight for Miles Turner. After the game, reporters gathered around Miles Turner in the locker room, and I like this. He didn't try to pretend that it didn't bother him. I like it when athletes, just people, show vulnerability. Like, tell me about your real feelings, man. I don't need you to act tough all the time. Like, a different player would sit there and say, I don't care. It is what it is, and I don't even hear the fans. And blah, blah, blah. I like it when people acknowledge what I would imagine would be the truth, which is, yeah, that stung a little bit. Here's Miles Turner talking about getting booed last night in Indianapolis.
It was disheartening, man. It was frustrating. You give 10 years of your life, your blood, your sweat, your tears. You take pay cuts. You survive trade rumors. You try to do everything the right way, and then sometimes not enough stuff shakes out. It's cool. I take it on the chin. I think a lot of people will say I said things, but I think a lot of people want to formulate their own narratives and spin it to whatever they want it to be. But it is what it is, man. Like I say, you take it on the chin, just move on.
This is one of those things that I've been talking about forever, and it's just I recognize I'm in the minority. Like, your average fan just does not view this stuff the way I view it. And I got it. I'm not even trying to convince anybody of anything anymore. But this is always my argument when John Calipari's at Arkansas going back to Kentucky, or when John Calipari comes back to Memphis. With few exceptions, I don't understand. I mean, I understand it, but I can't get on board with just relentlessly booing or heckling or generally being mean, to put it in third grade terms, to somebody who was that important to your franchise and didn't leave you necessarily because he wanted to, but because the franchise that he spent 10 years with, they lowballed him.
Yeah, I mean, he felt disrespected. You heard in his quote, you take pay cuts, you survive trade rumors. So he clearly left because he felt disrespected by the franchise.
This is regarded as fact. The contract he got from Milwaukee was not a contract the Pacers had ever put on the table for him.
Yeah,
he wanted. I don't know that he wanted to stay with Indiana. I can't say that. I can't get inside his head. But everything I'm about to say is true. If he wanted to stay in Indiana, based on the offers that were presented to him and his representation, he would have had to take a pay cut to stay there. Now, the Pacers side of it would be, we were negotiating, we were going to get there, but he wouldn't sign with the Bucks without even allowing us to counteroffer.
Yeah.
Bro, pick up the phone and tell us you got this offer and you're going to take it if we can't match it. And I get that on some level, but also, again, circling back to stuff we've been talking about this whole show. These are humans with emotions and egos. And you've given everything you got to this franchise for a decade. You know your value to this franchise. You know your value to other franchises because you know what Milwaukee is willing to give you. And your current employer that you've worked with for 10 straight years is haggling with you.
Yeah.
Is making this difficult for you. Is, rather than make you feel good about staying, making you wonder whether you should. So would I have picked up the phone or had my agent pick up the phone and call the Pacers and say, listen, I don't know what you guys are doing, but we got a Milwaukee offer. It's this year, this amount of money, and you ain't nowhere close to that yet. And I don't know if you want to get close to that, but just know that if you don't, we're on our way out. Would I have made that phone call? Asked my agent to? Probably. But I can also understand why somebody might say, because think about what this is when you are a free agent. It's a recruitment. People are pulling you in different directions. And if you got one franchise who is telling you, we love you, we'd love to have you, we want to put you with the best player in the world, and we want to give you this many years and this much money. And the other franchise that you've been with for 10 years is like, yeah, well, we'll see. We got to, get back with me next week. And, Like it was 3 years, 60 was one of the offers sitting out there for Miles Turner from the Pacers. That doesn't come close to what Milwaukee. So you get an incredible offer, and they're making you feel good.
Yeah.
They're saying, we want you. Are you sure they want to keep you? Are you sure the team you've been with for 10 years, are you sure they want to keep you? Because they're not acting like it, but we're acting like it. Giannis wants you. We want you, and we'll put our money where our mouth is. And they haven't yet. Would I have picked up the phone and made that phone call? Sure, probably. But I can absolutely understand why somebody else might be. You know what, the hell with this, man? I've been here for 10 years. We could have had this thing done at any point. And y'all still lowballing me in offers? But I got this other franchise over here with the best player in the world saying, please come be with me for more money than they want to give you? Man, let's just get out of here. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. And if for Pacers fans, again, I can't tell them how to feel, not even trying to. I can tell you how I would feel. I would go into that arena and I would say, maybe it all could have been handled differently and better. And maybe the truth is he just wanted out of here no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
But it is also true that we did not do everything we could to keep him. And I can understand why he would leave. And I am not going to hold him to some standard I wouldn't hold myself to. I guess that's always been my baseline on this stuff. I look at these things and I go, what would I have done if I were that person? And if it lines up with what that person would have done, I find it difficult to be mad at them. So we talked about this leading into the Memphis-Arkansas exhibition. John Calipari, right? He's the Memphis coach. I'm a Memphis grad and a Memphis fan. I wanted John Calipari to be the Memphis coach forever. I hated that he was no longer going to be the Memphis coach. But if I can take all that off and just go, what would I have done if I were John Calipari from Pittsburgh, who had worked in Massachusetts and Philadelphia and New Jersey before? What would I have done if, for the first time in my life, a big blue blood school like Kentucky said, we want you to represent us? What would I have done if I were John Calipari in the moment? You know what I'd done? I would have taken the Kentucky job. 99.9% of people in the world would have taken the Kentucky job. So I found it difficult to get mad at John Calipari because what am I getting mad at him about? He did the same thing I would have done if I were him. That just logically doesn't line up with me. Same thing last night. What would I have done if I were Miles Turner? I've spent 10 years somewhere and they're dicking me around. Meantime, the franchise that just won a championship a few years ago, has one of the best players in the world, is telling me how much they love me and showing it me with a contract offer. What would I do? I'd probably go too.
Mm-hmm. Now, to give the fans just a little benefit of the doubt, he did go on a podcast and say some bad stuff about Tyrese Halliburton, but I still would have given him a nice ovation.
Yeah, how about this? And just so I can prove to you, I'm not just saying stuff. I mean, I wasn't in the stadium, but Jacob deGrom made his return to Citi Field this past season, pitching for the Rangers. Jacob deGrom, longtime Met, two-time Cy Young Award winner, has given me some of my best baseball experiences of my adult life. I was not mad at him when he signed with the Rangers, and I would not have booed him or done anything but cheered him when he came back to Citi Field. Because similar to the situation with Miles Turner, when it got time for Jacob deGrom to make a decision, the Rangers had one contract on the table, and the Mets had another one, and the Mets did not line up with the Rangers. He would have had to take less money to stay in New York. What would I have done if I were Jacob deGrom? I would have left. Hey, I love it here. I'm not trying to leave, but if they're going to give me 2 more years and $75 more million or whatever the numbers were, well, then I got to go. What do you want me to do? I would have done the same thing. So I can't be mad at him because I would have done that. And if I were a Pacers fan, I would have lined all that up in my head. Miles Turner, I liked him while he was here. I don't like that he's not here, but I understand why he's not. And so I'll just politely applaud. But that's a quest I've been on for years. And, oh, Bennett, I don't think I'm ever going to get to the finish line with this one.
Number 3.
The 2025-26 college basketball season got underway yesterday. And the headlining game, it was last night in Las Vegas, T-Mobile Arena. Top 15 matchup, only ranked versus ranked matchup on the schedule on the opening day. It was Arizona against Florida, the reigning national champs. And, oh, buddy, we spent a lot of time talking about Darren Peterson, A.J. DeBonsa, and Cam Boozer. Koa Pete, freshman at Arizona last night, 6'8", 18-year-old. He went for 30 points and dominated, physically overwhelmed Florida's front court, which has Alex Condon, who's a preseason first-team AP All-American.
Yeah, they brought everybody back, right?
In that front court, they did.
In that front court.
Thomas Houck, who's a projected first-round draft pick. Like Florida arguably has the best front court in the country. Mm-hmm. If you would have asked any college basketball analyst 2 days ago, so who think's got the best front court in the country, you'd have got a lot of Florida answers because they brought basically everybody back from a team that won a national championship up front. And Arizona's 18-year-old dominated the whole thing last night. He hasn't been talked about like Peterson, Debonsa, Boozer because he's not considered the same type of NBA prospect.
Okay.
Because he's kind of a 6'8", big-bodied, non-shooting big. You know, like an undersized 4'5", or maybe a really good 3'4". But if he's going to be a really good 3'4", he's got to shoot the ball from the perimeter. And worth noting, he took 0 3-pointers last night. So I'm not telling you he wouldn't get drafted. I'm saying he probably get drafted in the lottery, but closer to the back half of the lottery than the top half. And certainly not in the conversation for the number 1 overall pick like Peterson, Debonsa, and Cam Boozer. But that won't stop him from being one of the most impactful freshman basketball players in college. And he looked the part last night. Completely dominant, 30 points, and actually put together a box score that it's hard to go back and check it all the way through the history of college basketball because the numbers don't go back that far. But based on how far the numbers go back, points, rebounds, assists, steals, he put together a box score that was quite literally unprecedented for a Big 12 freshman. And the Big 12 is where Kevin Durant played as a freshman, Cade Cunningham played as a freshman, Michael Beasley played as a freshman. Some of the best freshmen to come through college in the past 20 years played in that league. And Koa Pete last night in his first game did something that none of them had ever done before.
We did have a couple upsets, or there was one big upset last night. Was it Hawaii Pacific beat Boise State in Boise? And
that was off my radar.
That one was well. I wasn't familiar with Hawaii Pacific.
Bennett, I don't stay up late watching Mountain West games.
Come on, dude. You're the home of the Mountain West.
Unless I'm in studio and in a tie.
Okay,
all right.
Fair enough.
I was just as soon as BYU Villanova went final last night, I was in the shower and then straight in bed.
Fair enough.
I watched BYU Villanova, Debonsa get 21, and then I was in the shower and into bed. We're calling it a night. But no, there weren't any, Arizona over Florida was an upset. But if you were looking for the ranked team that lost to an unranked team, that did not happen yesterday. But it almost did with Auburn. And does that concern you at all, Big Bet Bennett? Because last week, Stephen Pearl's Auburn Tigers just really bombed Penny Hardaway's Tigers down in Atlanta, beat them by, I believe, 24 points.
Okay.
And last night, that same Auburn team in its regular season opener was taken to overtime by Bethune-Cookman. The team Memphis couldn't stay within 20 points of got taken to overtime by Bethune-Cookman. Does that concern you at all?
It doesn't concern me as much as I wouldn't use the word concern. I would use the word cautiously nervous, I guess. I'm nervous. I'm a little nervous, but I still I'm not going to put too much into exhibition games. That's my rule. I'm going to try to stick by it. Okay.
Let's try to stick by it.
I do it with the NBA preseason. I'm trying to stick by. I don't put too much stock into exhibitions. Okay.
Okay.
But the reason that it doesn't concern me as much is because that preseason game, Auburn versus Memphis. Well, Auburn knows they're playing a big brand in Memphis. You can get up for that, correct?
They look past Bethune-Cookman. That's what you're saying.
They knew they were going to beat their ass, and then they got into a game. We've seen that before in college basketball. I mean, remember, was it Evansville that beat Kentucky? In Kentucky, erupt.
It does happen.
Yeah, it does happen early in the season in college basketball. You can get got if you don't show up for a game. And clearly, last night it seems like they didn't show up for a game that they probably should have won by 40. And they got into a game they didn't expect to be in. I think they'll still be good. You think they'll still be good?
I do think they'll still be good.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about whether Auburn will be good as much as I'm worried about whether Memphis will be good.
Damn it.
I'm not worried about Auburn as much as I'm worried about Memphis. Although Auburn did last night drop from 31 at Ken Palm all the way down to 43. They won, but they dropped 12 spots in the computers. Weird game. Wasn't even on my radar. It wasn't even on actual TV. It was streaming on SEC Plus Network, SEC Network Plus or whatever.
Okay.
So I turned it, and keep in mind, maybe I'm an inferior college basketball analyst, but I turn it on. I know nothing about Bethune-Cookman. I mean, except that it's a place. All right. And it's just funny the way these things happen. You look up and it's like, oh, there's Reggie Theus coaching Bethune-Cookman. Interesting.
No
okay.
way.
Yeah. Okay. And then it's like, because I don't know if you saw it, Bethune-Cookman was actually up late, and then Auburn took the lead, and Auburn was up 3 in the final seconds. And Arterio Morris, I didn't even know if he was still alive, gets fouled at midcourt, taking a 3-point, like a heave, and they foul him. And he goes to the free throw line, Darius Washington situation, except he needed to make all 3 just to get it to overtime.
He does.
Boom,
yeah.
boom. He knocked down all 3. Arterio Morris, McDonald's All-American, 5-star recruit.
Right, I remember.
Went to Kansas and Texas, got charged with sexual assault, ultimately dismissed, and now he's at Bethune-Cookman. I had no idea. He's been a junior college. I turned it on last night, and they were like, and Arterio Morris is going to the line. I was like, what? How is he still in college? The last thing I'd heard about him was he was just gone. And then I guess he bounced to junior college, and now here he is playing for Reggie Theus. So just college basketball is weird like that sometimes. You just look up, and you're like, I know that guy, and I know that guy. I had no idea these guys were here.
All right, well, they're on my first 4 radar.
Okay. Bethune-Cookman, let's see how they're expected to finish in the SWAC.
I'm going to say 5th in the SWAC.
Right now, they're expected to, according to Ken Palm, 2nd in the SWAC.
How about that?
Okay.
They are first 4. They're on my first 4 radar officially. Let me write that down.
You got to get on a Bethune-Cookman bandwagon, aren't you?
Okay,
Bennett. I like that. You're going to ride it.
I mean, they got a former McDonald's All-American on their team, and they play in the SWAC. Like, they've got a chance.
Come on, man.
It's number 2 projection preseason?
Yes.
Come on.
You got a McDonald's All-American in the SWAC. Go with and Reggie Theus as your coach. What more do you need?
Let's go.
Bethune-Cookman. I'm going to buy a shirt or something.
Okay, I'll buy a shirt, too.
All right.
Sounds good.
Number 4.
Did you see this press conference yesterday with Aaron Glenn?
No, I didn't see it.
Aaron Glenn, he's the head coach of the New York Jets. For now. How long is this going to last?
Well, he's a former Jet, so they're going to give him time.
Okay.
They're going to try to get him like a quarterback, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think you have to at least say that you tried to get him a quarterback.
Yeah, because he doesn't appear to have one right now.
Not right now.
And they don't know. This is the setup, right? He's been non-committal about who's going to start at quarterback going forward. And so the media is there, and the New York media is not like other local markets where you can say, hey, coach, so what about this? And the coach can just non-answer you, and then you just move on to something else. They'll just ask it again.
Yep.
It's like that Tyler Creator line that I always laugh at on the album from last year. He's like, if you hang up, he says some line, it's got words in it that I can't say, but it's like, if you just hang up on me, I'll just call you right back. I still know your number. Like, all right, I'm not dealing with this anymore. Click, ring, I'll just call you right back. It's no big deal. So the media, you cannot answer the question, but they're just going to ask it in a different way. And yesterday it led to a weird, awkward interaction between media and coach. Let's watch it together.
I want to go back to the quarterback thing again. So obviously you want to keep it secret for as long as possible for whatever, competitive reasons. But I'm wondering, doesn't it help the quarterback's confidence when the coach comes out and says, "You're my guy"?
It helps the quarterback confidence when the player and the coach talk and they know who the guy is. Not that I'm telling it to you guys. That has nothing to do with the player's confidence.
So basically, are you kind of saying that, whomever is going to start knows his status as he practices throughout the week this week?
And that'll be between me and the player.
But I mean, okay.
I don't understand why you guys keep doing it.
Well, AG, I'm just kind of curious.
It's really getting hilarious, too. You guys keep asking the same question, and I keep giving you the same answer.
I am just curious, though, AG, what is the competitive advantage or disadvantage for a team not knowing which of these two guys is playing?
My own reasons.
Just what are we doing? Why are some coaches just weird?
Well, maybe it is a competitive advantage.
Okay, but this is exactly because I think there's good stuff in here. I love the way the reporter pivoted there. Like, I don't even know who that is. I'm not like Champion, one of my buddies, or I don't even know who that was. He pivoted perfectly. Because you're starting the conversation from a perspective of, I as a reporter believe there's an advantage to a starting quarterback knowing he's going to be the starting quarterback from a confidence perspective. Do you disagree with that? And Aaron Glenn's like, no, not necessarily, but if the coach and the player both know how this is going to go, it doesn't really matter whether you know or the fans know. As long as coach and player know, we're good. And he's like, okay, but if you know, because what you're indicating right now is that you know who's going to start at quarterback, why won't you say it? He's like, I don't need to tell you. And then it becomes clear the reason Aaron Glenn is acting this way is because whether he's right or wrong, he seems to believe that there is a competitive advantage to the uncertainty. That's what he seems to believe. You would agree with that, right?
Yeah.
So what did the reporter say? We've reached a point in this conversation where we disagree. You seem to think there's a competitive advantage to being secretive. I don't really understand that. So can you explain to me your perspective? If it is a competitive advantage to not name a starting quarterback in advance of Sunday, on Monday of game week, can you just tell me why? I don't know that I agree with you, but I would like to hear why you believe what you believe. Now answer the question. It's actually very similar to the Thomas Islo thing yesterday, except Islo just answered the question. Somebody was just like, hey, what's going on with the rotations? Explain it to me from every angle. And he's like, okay, well, here's why I do it this way. And here's why I think it works. And here's why I think it's the way to do things in the year 2025. But I also know that some players aren't going to be comfortable with it. And I also believe the reason some players aren't going to be comfortable with it is because they spent their whole lives doing it another way. Their whole lives, they've been playing 8 or 9 minutes at a time. Now, because I think it's the right thing to do, for all the reasons I've already explained to you, I think it's best to play about 4 or 5 minutes at a time. But I'm not surprised that some players are uncomfortable with it because they've never done this, not to this degree. So I'm not surprised that we've landed in this spot. And I can also acknowledge that doing it my way might cost us in other ways. Chemistry, locker room harmony, all of that stuff. He just talked through it from every angle, every side. That's the way you're supposed to answer a question. And that reporter right there gave Aaron Glenn a perfect opportunity. It was like, yo, man, I don't agree with your perspective. I don't think you're right. I don't understand it. But I would like to try to understand it. So in your own words, can you tell me why you believe it's a competitive advantage to have secrecy connected to your quarterback competition? Just whatever you think, whatever it is that makes you believe that, say it. And he just wouldn't. And, the results are the results. Like, if you can't win there, you'll get fired anyway. But you can't pick these fights in that city. They'll eat you up over stuff like this.
Yeah.
Like, you can't pick these fights. You'll lose these. If you have too many uncomfortable press conferences in New York, it becomes a narrative connected to you that you can't escape. You become a cartoon character. This happens in politics all the time. Do you know how different it is if you ever just sit down and listen to some of these politicians, even the ones you actually disagree with? They all get made into cartoon characters by the internet and by cable news. We're just watching little clips of them, and they form an opinion connected to them. And I mean, this is on both sides, like both sides. And these people become like cartoon characters. And then every once in a while, I'll just stumble into here's a 20-minute interview with this person that I don't think I agree with on much. And I listen to it and I go, okay, still don't think I agree, but they don't sound stupid. They don't sound like they don't know what they're talking about. That person is a little more interesting than I would have imagined just based on what I knew about them from the internet. And I think that's helpful. Like I have within the past month experienced this on both sides. I have listened to a left-wing politician that I was like, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then a right-wing, and I was like, well, this is I might not agree with some of these things, but I don't think this person is stupid. They don't sound stupid to me. But based on everything I just experienced on social media, people try to paint this person as a dummy. But I'm listening to them talk for 30 minutes at a time, and they don't sound dumb to me anymore. My point is, we have the ability with the internet and everything else to make people into cartoon characters, and you having moments like that will turn you into one more quickly than it otherwise would happen, and it becomes hard to survive that, especially when you don't have a good quarterback, no matter whether you announce it or not.
Number 5.
MLB announced its finalists for its big awards, MVP, Cy Young, and barring a surprise, it's going to be some familiar names. There's some debate, I guess, on the American League side between Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh. And I guess there's an argument to be made for Cal Raleigh based on the position that he plays and the demand that it requires. Different to be a catcher and have to manage that game from behind the plate than it is to just play in the outfield. So if you were making an argument for Cal Raleigh, it's got to be rooted in that stuff. But the numbers argument is going to still be connected to Aaron Judge, and most people believe Aaron Judge will win yet another American League MVP. And then on the National League side, it'll likely be Shohei Ohtani, who, of course, just starred for the Dodgers in the World Series. I did find this interesting, though. They announced 3 finalists for each award, and in the National League, one of the finalists, he won't win it because Shohei will win it, but one of the 3 finalists was Juan Soto. Like, remember, like for much of the season, people were like, what's wrong with Juan Soto? He didn't even make the All-Star team, which was stupid. He should have made the All-Star team. But like a lot of the conversation connected to him was like, you give him $700 million, and what's wrong with Juan Soto? He just turned in a top 3 MVP season in year 1 in New York. There were a lot of problems with the Mets this season, but Juan Soto was not one of them. MLB Awards, they'll all be announced a little later on this month. Be back with GP's Carryout.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Jeff Dunham, Artificial Intelligence, his all-new tour.
You're the other white meat. How can you be so smart on one hand and so stupid on the other? Well, you're half of it. I realize I could have avoided all this years ago with one simple word. I do not. Silence!
Don't miss a Memphis. Friday, April 10th, FedEx Forum. Tickets on sale Monday, September 29th at jeffdunham.com.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item, whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Parrish Show presented by Ortho South. We're inside the Built for Tough studio. Let's wrap this up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we miss today?
Breaking news from last night. Big Netflix fight scheduled for later this month. Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis has been canceled. This comes a week after Gervonta Davis was accused of aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and intentional infliction of emotional distress in a lawsuit filed by an ex-girlfriend who claims that last Tuesday night, Gervonta Davis pulled her out of a gentleman's club in Miami where she was employed as a VIP cocktail server. A lot going on here.
Yeah.
A lot going on here. Either way, somebody stepped in and said, okay, well, you can't fight. We're not going to allow you to come on Netflix and fight Jake Paul. So they're trying to put together another fight right now. Oh, God. Have you seen some of the names they've reached out to?
Who?
I mean, it's actually kind of crazy.
Oh, it's the who's who?
Reportedly, they reached out to Terrence Crawford.
I'm surprised Jake Paul would do that.
He's just so little.
Still.
I mean, you get him by...
That's fair.
Like what? Like you Google Terrence. You Google Jake Paul's weight. I'm gonna Google Terrence Crawford.
Okay. You're right. And Jake Paul, like we know that Jake Paul is like a real boxer, right? We acknowledge that, right?
He is not a championship level boxer at his weight, but he is a competent boxer, sure. Give me a weight on Jake Paul.
I got Bud. Okay, let me get Jake Paul. Hang on.
This is your problem if you're Terrence Crawford. Whatever we're about to tell you is your problem.
Wait, why does that? I don't want.
Okay, Bennett, Jesus, I'll do it.
I mean,
he's 200
it's giving
pounds.
me his height.
He's 200 pounds. I got it. He's 200 pounds. So, Terrence Crawford.
Google even for?
I handled it.
Oh, this is Bing.
I handled it.
That's why.
Bennett, I handled it. You just sit over there and focus on your little buttons.
Stupid computer.
You just sit over there and focus on your little buttons.
Stupid computer.
I handled it. So Terrence Crawford would be giving up like 30 plus pounds, and that's just a lot to give up in a boxing ring when somebody's leaning on you. And, just like even if Terrence Crawford got him clean, like can you hurt somebody who outweighs you by that much? Yes, but it's harder. Whereas you can really get punished if you get hit by a man that much bigger than you. So why would Jake Paul reach out to Terrence Crawford?
Because he can win.
I don't know if he could win, but like he starts with a 30-plus pound advantage. All right.
Why would beef? But what time's the fight? When's the fight?
It was supposed to be, I think, November 14th. Couple of.
Okay, we can't get 30, but I bet we can get 10. I bet we could put 10 pounds on Bud.
Here's the thing: you don't. If you are a generational talent, now widely recognized as the pound-for-pound champ in boxing.
Why would you do this?
You don't get involved in like circus shit like this.
Correct.
This is the type of dumb stuff you do after you retire if you want to, or if
big payday though.
Or if you need it, he can get a big payday. Anything right now.
That's true.
Anything right now.
He's one of them.
He's one of.
Yeah.
He's the guy now. He's the guy. So if you're the guy, you don't go to this place. You just make your own fight, put it back on Netflix like your last one was, and you continue to build your legacy there. But they reportedly also reached out to Manny Pacquiao. I mean, they're just everybody. And so far, they've had no takers. But you name a prominent former UFC person or prominent former boxer, and there's a good chance that Jake Paul's camp has reached out to them in the past week to see about getting in the ring and how quickly they could do it. So they're still planning to fight in Miami, Jake Paul is, at some point this month. But date and opponent, TBD.
What's today's biggest game?
All right, Bennett. We're doing college basketball.
The stupid Cowboys, by the way.
That was very stupid.
That was so dumb.
They was very dumb what they did last night.
Bro, Stephen A. Smith said peace.
To Jerry Jones?
Dude, he was sitting right next to him in the suite, and he just said, I got to get out of here.
I sat right next to Jerry Jones in a suite before.
You did.
Yeah,
you
sure.
Did. Yeah.
Christmas night. It was Christmas night at what is now referred to as Nissan Stadium.
Yep.
My buddy Jason D.
I know it
Williams
well.
is lifelong friends with Jerry Jones. They're both from Arkansas. And I didn't even know if this was true. Jason actually just said to me, what are you doing on Christmas? This was the whole conversation. What are you doing on Christmas? And I was like, opening presents? And he was like, you want to go to the Cowboys game? And I was like, what? And he's like, Cowboys, they're playing in Nashville, playing the Titans. You want to go? And I was like, yeah. I get, how? He's like, I'll just call Jerry. Jerry Jones, that's my buddy. you're going to call Jerry and go? I said, yeah. And so we had, we took some people with us.
Yeah, man.
And so we're driving up to Nashville on Christmas. It's Monday Night Football, 7 o'clock, kick whatever. And we're driving up, and the young woman who was with me, sweet gal, she was like, so what are we really going to sit with Jerry Jones, the Cowboys owner? And I said, let me tell you how this is going to go. It is possible that, yes, we will be in a box with Jerry Jones. That is definitely possible. It is also possible this is just a made-up story to get us all to go to Nashville for the night. And I don't know which is which. We'll see when we get there. And we got there, and I swear, walked up to the will call. It was like, Jason was like, Jason D. Williams and Jerry Jones. It was like, boom. I'm still expecting we're going to sit in a suite, and there's going to be 30 people in there, 20 people in there.
Yeah.
I'm not exaggerating. This is exactly what it was. Jerry Jones, his wife, me, Jason, our two friends, Larry Lacewell, who was helping run the Cowboys at the time, and one of the Jerry's sons, Steven, Jerry Jones, somebody, and his fiance at the time. That's it.
I would have been nervous.
It was actually.
Were you not nervous?
No. Perhaps I should have been. I was just sort of this is wild. I was 23 years old.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I was 23 years old.
This version of me, I'd be a little nervous.
Yeah, I was just
23-year-old, I'd be like, this is awesome.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. So there is a moment where the way I remember it, the luxury suites, the present, whatever, it had seats, rows of seats. And I was on the front row, closest to the field. And Jerry Jones was right behind me.
Yeah.
And so I don't know that I was ever in the shot. But if you could ever find a shot from that game of Jerry Jones, I was right.
Maybe you're there. Yeah.
I was sitting right in front of him. But I remember this vividly. At some point, they lost the game, and at some point, somebody got called for a bad holding call. I don't remember the details. It might have been Emmitt Smith broke one off, and then was holding, brought it back, right?
Yeah.
And I just remember this. I get tapped on the shoulder, and Jerry Jones is like, "Did you see who was holding?" And I was like, "No, I don't think I saw it, Mr. Jones."
Come on, man. Pay attention. What was your moment?
I don't think I was paying attention. Now that all these memories are just coming back to me, here's another memory that I have from that night. So we get in the box, and there's I don't think there was alcohol in there at the time when we walked in.
It's serious. This is business.
Yeah, but I was 23, and I had a 23-year-old with me. So I was like, hey, I'd call it, because they have all the people that work in the boxes.
Yeah. What do y'all need?
Yeah, it was one of those. What do y'all need? Whatever you need, just get what you need. And I said, can we get a bottle of vodka? And I don't remember the number, but they brought I'm making this part up, but 7 bottles of vodka. I don't remember if it was 7. It might have been 4, but it was a very specific. I asked for a bottle of vodka. They brought 4 bottles of vodka. And then somebody else was like, hey, you got any bourbon? And they were like, sure. Bottle of bourbon? We were like, yeah, let's get a bottle of bourbon too. And they brought back 4 bottles of bourbon. And at some point I was like, yo, man, I don't know because I didn't know I didn't know what was going on. And I was like, I don't want everybody getting charged. I know it probably doesn't matter to Jerry Jones if he gets charged for 4 bourbon bottles, but nobody else we're not drinking 4 bottles of bourbon tonight. So I was like, yo, man, I don't know if you misheard me, but we don't need all these bottles. We just a bottle of vodka, a bottle of bourbon. I think that's probably good. And they were like, no, Mr. Jones is superstitious about this. Everything has to come in 4s or 7, whatever the number was. So whatever I would have said, if I'd have said I need a Diet Coke, they'd have brought 4 Diet Cokes. That was the impression.
Interesting.
That was the impression I was left with. It was a wild night.
Well, I don't know if he got things in 4s last night because they didn't have any luck.
They were
was
terrible.
Stupid. Bro, they lost at home to the
backup quarterback.
And the Arizona Cardinals. Come on.
Oh, my God.
That's brutal. Stephen A. said, bye. I can't do this anymore. He left the suite. He left.
I never left. Yeah. I stood by Jerry Jones to the very
Good for
end.
you. And I hope he remembers that.
I was there with him to the final horn. I hope he remembers it, too. I was there. You're going to welcome me into your box. I'm going to sit here, suffer with you to the very end, man. I ain't going to make you do it on your own.
Yeah.
Anyway, tonight we're doing college basketball.
What's up?
Texas at number 6 Duke. It's inside the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. 7:45 tip. It's on ESPN. Duke -8.5. Totals 152.5. How you going to act? Sean Miller's the new coach at Texas, if you didn't know.
I think it's going to take Sean a minute to get this thing rolling. So,
Do you?
Yeah, what's the recruiting class looking like there?
Oh, he brought back a couple of starters from Texas, got into that transfer portal.
Who we get? We get anybody noteworthy?
Well, the best thing they did was bring back Tremont Mark and Mark Pope. He brought a big with him from Xavier down to Austin, Texas. He's got a preseason top 25 team, at least in my eyes, but not in the AP poll.
I just think that's a tough spot. Your first game on the road at Cameron Indoor.
No, we're in Charlotte. We're in
Charlotte.
Yeah.
We're in Charlotte. Oh, this is the Dickie V Invitational.
That's right.
This is the Dickie V Invitational.
That's right.
Okay, so it's kind of a neutral. It's still going to be heavy Duke fans. I'll go Duke.
Betty said he's taking Duke.
Yeah.
Minus the 8.5. Tip tonight, 7:45. Again, you can watch it on ESPN.
What are we watching on TV?
Can I interest you in Eileen, Queen of the Serial Killers?
I saw this on Netflix.
I saw it too.
I saw the movie that was
Monster.
Yeah, Charlize Theron played her.
She was great. It was great.
It was good. It was.
She won an Academy Award for it.
Sure
that was
did.
in 2003. The movie was called Monster. Charlize Theron was the star. She won an Academy Award, and she was playing this woman.
Yep.
And so what this is, it's one episode, 103 minutes, so you can get through it in one night, no problem. It was number 2 in movies at Netflix.com as of last night. Before her execution, Eileen Wuornos confessed to killing 7 men along Florida's highways. Never before seen footage helps tell her complicated story. Would you like to learn more about her complicated story?
Sure. She scares me.
She's crazy.
She's one of those
cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs
people. Like when I see like the footage and stuff, I get like kind of scared.
She got those wild eyes.
Yeah, dude.
You ever see somebody with them wild eyes?
Yeah, dude.
You know they're capable of murder just by the way their eyes look.
Like if someone just showed me a clip of her talking and was like, she murdered 7 men, I would have been like, yeah, I get that.
I knew it was at least 3.
Yeah.
I knew it was at least 3. I didn't know it was 7, but I figured it was at least 3. She looks like she could kill.
For sure. She looks like a killer.
She's no longer with us. She was put to death.
I would hope so.
Would you hope so?
I mean, I don't think you can kill 7 people at all, period.
I'm fine with that. Today's not going to be the day I try to argue.
Yeah, we'll talk about that another day.
Today's not going to be the day I'm going to try to argue on behalf of a serial killer, okay?
Yeah.
Today's not going to be the day I'm going to try to argue on behalf of a serial killer. But if you want to watch this documentary, Eileen, Queen of the Serial Killers, it's on Netflix. You can find it right now.
What's the best thing we've read?
Interesting story from John Toth, CBS Sports, yesterday on Hugh Freeze. Did you see this?
Mm-mm.
Basically, sort of, it's the story you do when a coach gets fired and it just never really got going the way you hoped it would get going. What went wrong?
Yeah.
Call your sources. What went wrong? And I'm sure it's more than this. It's always more than this. But we've touched on this before because it kind of became a story. The sentiment is that Hugh Freeze reached a point in his life where he was more interested in being a good golfer than a good college football coach.
Wait, so that was real?
It's apparently real. John Toth said that he's got sources who are at the members at the same golf course Hugh Freeze is at. All right. So he's like, I would get texts from people at the golf course. They were like, it'd be Friday before a game. He'd be at the golf course. Sunday after a loss, he'd be at the golf course. Like some football coaches, Urban Meyer, you lose on Saturday night, you don't ever leave the facility.
Right.
You sleep on a couch, you watch film all night till you can't hold your eyes open, pass that on a couch, wake up and start preparing for next week. And Hugh Freeze is on the golf course. And I didn't remember this, but there was a moment in the offseason where Hugh tweeted they had won some club championship in golf.
Oh no.
And he had the trophy. And it was we did it and whatever and blah, 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 blah. And Lane Kiffin retweeted it because this was a thing. Lane Kiffin quote tweeted it and was like, looking good, coach. I hear your golf game's on fire.
Dude, he is so good. But he is so good.
So good.
They can't lose him.
He's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is at least the perception among Auburn people that our football coach was given an opportunity to dive into film or recruit or prepare. He would rather get 18 holes in.
It's tough.
It's one of those things that as long as you're winning, nobody cares.
That's right.
As long as you're winning, nobody cares. Do you have any idea whether Kurt Signetti plays golf or not?
No.
Or if he does, how often he does? I don't either. It doesn't matter as long as you're good. But when you're not, people start looking for reasons for why you're not. And I do think, as a golfer, we try to lie to ourselves sometimes and be like, well, there's nothing, I don't got anything else to do. If you have a serious job and a competitive job, there is always something else to do.
Yeah.
There is always something else to do. So I never try to tell you, why were you at the golf course? Because I had nothing else to do. No, I had plenty of other things to do. I just also think in life, particularly me, with the way I work, I can't go 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I need time to unplug, and the golf course is a good place to do that. But if you want to know the truth, once the college basketball season starts, I'm not out there. I think between November and April last year, I played golf one time. I think one time. And I love it just as much as Hugh Freeze. But I just know that's not a good way to spend my time when my job is demanding me as much as it's demanding me. So I don't, you hear people all the time say I put them up. I don't technically put them up. I just never take them to the course or rarely take them to the course. Because I'd be lying to you if I told you there wasn't, for every minute I'm on the golf course on a Sunday during the college basketball season, that is a minute I could have been preparing for the Sunday night podcast I'm going to have to do, right? And I have to be aware of that. And it sounds like Hugh Freeze might not have been so aware of that. So now he's out of a job, and John Tofty says it's because of golf. You can go read the story. It's at cbssports.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow will be Wednesday. Chris Vernon will hop in here in the first hour. We'll get ready for Rockets Grizzlies inside FedEx Forum. So it should be a fun day. I'm looking forward to it already. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to try to enjoy mine. We will meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.